I love you, dragon.
my god.
I ain't never gonna stop loving you, dragon. And you know it's true, baby! Play those pipes! So I was on Twitter the other day deliberately trying to find something to get offended at, because that's Twitter's only societal function, right? Anyway, someone was talking about how the book is always better than the movie, and that's just wrong. That's a generalization, and I don't like generalizations. A lot of people don't like generalizations. That's a generalization. But unlike most people on the internet, I have proof! I have the receipts! I have the evidence! And that is DreamWorks' How to Train Your Dragon movie! It really is better than the books. It really is just better than a lot of things. And I think it still holds up. This is my favorite movie. Well, actually my favorite animated movie. I have a separate list. But sometimes I will say this is my favorite movie when I don't want to admit that my actual favorite movie has a Hitler Youth as a protagonist. What are we talking about? So How to Train Your Dragon is about a dude, specifically a Viking, and his pet dragon. What I like about this film is, oh gosh, where do I even start? I feel like everyone who wants to write something, especially fantasy, should watch this movie. And this is because I think it is a really clear example of the success of the old adage, keep it simple, stupid! Sometimes fantasy worlds that people create just go way over the top, and you kind of lose the heart of just a regular story. And that's how I felt about the original books. The books were pretty weird. They were really fun, to be honest, and I read them when I was a kid, but I felt like the author took this already really cool concept, Vikings and freaking dragons, and kind of went over the top with a lot of weird stuff. The dragons in it speak a really goofy, broken English called Dragonese, and I think it's kind of dumb. But this movie is freaking awesome. It takes the underlying element of the really interesting original story, a boy and his monster, a boy and his dragon, whatever, and shows this crazy cool clash between two worlds. In the end, the Vikings and the dragons realized the two of them wanted the same thing, and while I don't really like plots based entirely around miscommunication, it makes sense because, you know, the dragons can't speak. What else we got? The comedy's great. The characters are so amazing, they made TV shows out of them. There's TV shows for this. Did you guys know that? I didn't think you knew that. It's got the best soundtrack in animated film ever. John Powell, you're a legend, buddy. I know the memers all like the Shrek soundtrack, the weebs all like the anime, and the high-class artsy people probably like whatever the heck this is. But you are all lying to yourselves, because I have two words for you. Romantic flight, you son of a gun. Yeah, that was just a taste. I bet it really oodled your noodle. Yeah, that's the pure sound of true love. That's the sound that plays in your head during your first kiss. That's the sound of Cupid's frickin' arrow flying into your butt. That's the song that plays when your imaginary girlfriend comes walking down the aisle. Ultimately, I think an adaptation should build upon its original source material. Of course, it's going to be different from the original. It's always going to be. Otherwise, you'd just be rewatching the same movie or rereading the same book. Any good story can transcend mediums, but with that, there has to be changes made along the way. I think the Disney adaptations of their own movies are pretty bad, but I'm not the first guy to say this as well. They're bad adaptations because they're trying to be the originals while adding unnecessary things. Also, sometimes they don't try to be the original and it really sucks. I have the receipts! Is How to Train Your Dragon a good adaptation of the books? Not really. When people think of Toothless, they'll probably think of this guy. Not this guy. It's come to the point where I see and enjoy both of them as two separate things. Do I like one more than the other? Yeah. Does every parent like one more than the others? Yeah. But that doesn't have to be bad, because I still like the good things in each. I think that's how a lot of people feel. And anyway, I think that's what How to Train Your Dragon is all about. Seeing the beauty of two different worlds, and appreciating both.